Hi guys, what's up everyone? This is Gaurav. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit different that how to explain a gap year in your resume. Now, once in a while, every student wants to take a gap before the university starts or after the university ends. It's like a tradition, but when it comes to international student, there are certain things which makes you take a gap year. Suppose you are working and you are planning to come to United States, then what happens that you do not have any time to prepare for GRE, GMAT or TOEFL, the entrance exams. So what you do is you take out 6 months or 1 year according to how you're going to prepare. And other students in different countries, they try to explore cultures, like to travel, so that all their pressure stresses they releases before they go into the new phase of their career or new phase of their university. Now, it's a very popular tradition in the United States and also in UK about taking a gap year. They intentionally take it so that your stress level decreases or you can do whatever you want before you start your new journey. Mostly the reason for the gap year is redundancy or burnout in the sense that you are working too much, you have a lot of stress in the work and you just want to feel relaxed. So there are things which a gap year might be affected. So in this video, I'm going to explain you how you should explain your gap year in your resume, how you can express to them that okay, this is the gap year, why you took it, and what are the things, what are the productive things which you did, and that should reflect in your resume, CV or cover letter that okay, this is the reason I took the gap year. And the interviewer should be convinced and he should be focused on that okay, this makes sense, that why did you take the gap year. Because many students, they just write random places that they took gap year because of so and so, and they, most of the students don't even mention it. So there is like a, suppose your graduation was in 2016 and you started your job in 2018, so what about 2017? So that was just an example, but in this video we are going to cover all the information which you need to know about a gap year and how to express it on your resume. So we're going to discuss about like 6 points or so, but be with me. And if you want to know how to explain it, a gap year in your resume, please keep on watching. Now, what are benefits of a gap year? Now, when you take a gap year, what happens is many students, they like to take a time off before they go out into the virtual world of working or a specific kind of university courses, because they feel refreshed by taking a gap year. Like, it can be a life-changing experience. The benefit is that you can explore more cultures, you get a transferable skills, you get lifelong experiences, and those experiences you can mention in your resume that okay, this is the gap year and I traveled here and I explored different cultures. In case of international students, what you can express is you were preparing for this exams and also you were trying to learn the cultural differences which you're going to face in future because you're transferring from one country to another. So this all are the benefits which you get it from a gap year, and it's really important to identify those skills which you learned and also the life-changing experiences which you faced, because those are the most important points that will define you, that did you really enjoyed your gap year or did you just waste it on doing some stuff which you're not supposed to. So these are the explanations you can give it on your resume, and also specifically mention the benefits that these are specifically which you faced and this has made a positive change or a lifelong experience which you encountered during this gap year. Therefore, a personal growth is a key consideration in deciding whether you should take a gap year or not. It at the end sums out to be how much growth you're gonna get in your personal life, in your career life, or whatever you're trying to prepare just for that gap year. So do not waste the gap year and try to utilize it and take benefit of it. What are the downside of gap year? Of course, not everything are like roses and all the beautiful things. Now, the downside would be if you are traveling, or if you're staying home, or if you're trying to be productive, there will be a travel cost involved, the expenses which you have to do. And also, please do not waste your full year in doing nothing and wasting all your time, because you will have to be productive and you will have to plan out that whole gap year, like how are you planning to do, so that when you return back, you might be like a skillful person, or you might have taken good experiences which will be helpful in going forward and will make you more successful towards your career or your life. And also, one of other downside is you lose momentum. Like suppose you are used to get going to a 9 to 5 job, but rather now you will be going to a beach and sitting there and enjoying your life. So that sudden change will be causing once you return back to your work or your university, so you might lose that momentum while you're trying to take a gap year. So make sure that you do not waste time, you do not sit in your pajamas and just think that what you are planning to do in a gap year. It has to be well planned with all the benefits or the downsides, and then you decide what are your personal growth, and then you take a gap year. That's the best way to go. And of course, for international students, you should definitely plan out how you are planning to do your masters, and also how you are planning to do your GRE and TOEFL. You should have a month-to-month plan. When are you planning to take this exam? When are you planning to take the next exam, and the gap in between, and when you'll apply to the university and all that stuff, because it's really crucial, because all the universities have deadline and it's really important to plan out those dates. Now, how to explain a gap year on your resume? Number one, be proud of your gap year. Now, the reason to put a gap year in your resume is not to gloss over it, but you should put it in a positive way. Now, don't think that only full-time paid opportunities or a job you did is only considered as a gap year or a successful gap year. Rather, freelancing, part-time work, or whatever you did is considered as a successful gap year, and you have to clearly and honestly mention what exactly you did. You have to reflect all the positive life learning experiences, or you can explain like how you gained such transferable skills while you were in a gap year. So it's all about being proud of it and taking out all the positive thoughts out of your gap year and writing in your resume. Very important to be honest and clear about it, and what were the transferable skills that you learn. You can definitely put it on your CV or your resume. Number two, focus on your skills. Now, identify the skills that you gained during your gap year and try to tie it to the work you are interested in. Try to align those skill gain to your career path or to the job you were finding to. Suppose there is a job opening, then try to explain the skills gain which they align to that job description which you are planning to give, or explain to the interviewer that how that gap year has made you think and had made you learn some experiences which will be useful in the job that you are applying for. That's the best way that you identify your skills and you focus on them. And also, most important, you explain it clearly to the interviewer that these skills which were gained during the gap year are very much useful for the position which you are applying for. It's all about the passion which you have towards your learning skills and how you want to like identify them and present it to the interviewer, and that's how it should be done. So most important, that focus on your skills and express them properly while you interview with the recruiters. Number three, include achievements. Now highlight all your achievements that you conquered during your gap year. it might be difficult for you to identify them, but since it was a gap year and what all things you did and what obstacles you overcome. But the best way is to mention it, what were the problems that you faced and what were the obstacles that you overcome, and what did you learn from them. Did you learn any problem solving skills? Then you should mention that. And how did you come out of that problem? You should mention that specifically by focusing on the achievements. And if you highlight those achievements, your resume will look way more better than all the other candidates and you will be able to stand out. So always highlight your achievements and you should be good to go. Number 4, don't go into excessive details. Now, when you write your resume or when you try to explain your gap year in your resume or a CV, then make sure you are only writing the skills which are relevant to the job role you are applying for. Do not go much into the detail or do not write any irrelevant experience. Make sure it's relevant experiences which you are mentioning, and when you are interviewing with the recruiter, you can talk about all the stories, or when he asks you like, you have written down this much in your gap year, can you more elaborate? At that time you can mention specific stories or whatever the details you might have regarding that specific gap year. So make sure to be clear, honest, short and relevant about your experiences in the gap year. Number 5, consider the format of your resume. Now, if you have more than one gap year, then you might use the format of functional resume where you explain all your skills on the top and a little bit work experience on the bottom. But usually you should go with a chronological resume format where you explain everything and the recruiter might feel like you are not hiding anything. But depending on your situation, you should choose a format and you should write accordingly. Number 6, show you are in for a long term. Despite of all the gap years or whatever things you did in the gap year, your resume should look like you are in and you are keen for a long-term set career and you are now ready to settle up after that gap year. The recruiter should not be feel like you will be getting trained and you will move to a next company or you will be going forward to a different path because you just like to switch roles or you like to take gap year. So it's really important to explain that you are in for the longer term so that the recruiter thinks that, okay, this guy is trustable, we will train him and he will be with the company. Now make sure that you understand that nobody wants to hire a person who just wants to be trained and then leave, because it's a matter of money, it's a matter of time. They teach you a lot, so it's your duty to just stay with them and help their company grow, and also of course for your personal growth. If you're not happy with what you're doing, you should not do it. But if you know that this is exactly what you want, then make sure your personal growth and the company growth goes ahead and you exactly found that you are here for the long term and that recruiters know. Now, last but not the least, what are the transferable skills you should mention? Now, the skills like problem solving, how did you start, your passion, your critical thinking, how did you come up with a solution when you had certain problems, and all those language barriers, your cultural experiences, your lifelong experiences, all that things or skills you can write down in your gap year or your transferable skills, because they are highly important. Now on your screen it might be flashing an example how it should be done. As you can see on the screen, that this is how a transferable skill should be mentioned. And that's all for this video, guys. I hope you understood how to explain gap year, and also it is really important to land your dream job if you properly explain that career break, or you can say as a gap year. So make sure to check other videos out too regarding all the job search, and I'll be like trying to explain you all these little things which are really important to get your dream job or get closer to get you to the dream job. I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me there, and just if you have any questions, comment below or DM me on Instagram or email me, and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.